Yo, what's going on? Today's video is going to be talking about how I mount my Mark II Century Optics fisheye to my mirrorless camera body. When I first started mounting the Mark I to my camera, there was a lot of trial and error. Many lenses had been used in place of the VX1000 glass, meaning Mark I was made for the VX1000 and VX2000, all the ones in between. It's meant to be focused on a very specific type of lens grouping, which can be found in the VX1000 and VX2. So trying to find a stock lens that can focus a Mark I on the front of it to be at infinity is damn near impossible. I know one person that sells it. He goes by VX Fisheye Sales on Instagram. He sells a Mark I to DSLR adapter. It's about $500 and it's sold out. So I can't even get that. But what I have here is a creation of mine. This is my Mark II. It won't focus. Baby fisheye. There we go. On a Lumix G. Very shitty lens. It is a 14 to 42 micro four thirds lens. Basically what I did here was it was pure luck. I put the lens on it. I put the Mark II on it one time and I was shooting wide open. The widest this goes, I think, is f4 or something like that, f4.2. I was shooting wide open and I got VIG, but it was super blurry being at f2 or f4 or whatever. So being at f4 and you couldn't see anything, I put it to f22, the highest it can go, and it was super dark. But in the day, it's fine if you bump your gain or ISO, whatever type of camera you have, you could start to see stuff. With that, I thought, okay, I am maxed out on the closest focal distance, so I can't focus any closer to focus on the back element of this glass of the Mark II. The only other way to gain focus would be to physically detach the lens from the body and move it away. So I came up with the idea of a macro spacer ring because they sell very thin ones, and they're dirt cheap. You can get the autofocus ones that have the pins. I don't have a macro extension tube with me. I'm planning on getting one to test my theory. All right, let's start talking about what I mean by it's sharp at f22. I have DaVinci Resolve pulled up. We'll shoot over to that and check out a couple example clips I have pulled up of what I'm really talking about and what I'm talking about when I say detaching the lens from the actual body about a quarter inch or less to focus at infinity at a lower aperture like f8. Let's jump over there now because it's going to get really confusing. I have it all pulled up. This is a perfect example I have of kind of the process I have to do to even get sharp focus to begin with. So what you're seeing right now is the lens mounted directly to the body with the Mark I on it, right? Looks cool, but it's out of focus. So you'll see it cut out right about here. Yeah. When it cuts out, that is me taking the lens off of the body. And then now it's off, and you can see it already gets a little bit sharper. And again, there's nothing holding the lens on right now. I'm holding it with my hand. Now it's sharp, right? And then it's really fine adjustment, but it gets sharper. This is probably as sharp as it will get. It looks pretty good. It looks like the extreme, and again, I'm holding it with my hand, so it's not centered entirely. So the VIG is a perfect curve on this side, and it's cut off in these corners on the right hand side. But when you have the extension tube, at least my theory is it will be centered, but you'll have even less VIG. You can even see the amount of VIG now just because I've shifted it with my hands on accident. But to give you a reference point of what the VIG would look like with the macro extension tube is somewhere down here in the bottom right. It's very small. It's Mk1-esque, like on the VX. If you look at the distortion in the corners, it's very extreme fisheye-like. The chromatic aberration on the trees. That was one of the things. I mean, you can see how sharp it is right here. You can read this sign. And then if we go back a little bit to when it's mounted, you can't see anything. And again, this is shooting at f/22 with it mounted and demounted. There's a lot of trial and error that went into this. I mean, yeah, you can see it's very crispy, very sharp. Some of that aberration happening on these trees again in the right hand side. I find it cool because I haven't seen anyone mount the Mk1. I mean, you even see aberration on the sign right here. I haven't seen anyone mount the Mk1 to a mirrorless body or DSLR without using that $500 adapter that VX Fisheye Sales on Instagram makes. I'm still trying to get a little bit of knowledge on what that adapter consists of. Meaning, is it a prime lens of some sort, like the VX glass? Can you focus it without the Mk1? And what type of glass is in that contraption? Because I'm very curious if it's similar to a normal lens or if it's Mk1 specific, because that would give me a lot of the answers as to why we can't use the Mk1 on a normal lens. As of right now, shooting on 1080, an HD timeline, you get extreme level VIG, not the word extreme meaning the fisheye. Once again, to point out that chromatic aberration, it is almost 1-to-1. And if anything, it's a little bit wider than the extreme. You know, I hope this knowledge that I gave you in this video gets out to all the skateboard filmers, because I think all of us wanted to mount the Mk1 to a mirrorless body.